Good afternoon, Saline. I'm Kayla Sellers.
And I'm Paxton Brown.
On this episode, we get exclusive interviews with some of Saline's well-known teachers, Mr. Dice and Mr. Falkowski, and a follow-up on last month's race card project.
Our A games are on, and we're ready for this episode of SHS Today.
On March 14th, the University of Michigan held their 30th annual German Day competition. 28 high schools and middle schools from around the area took part in various competitions.
9 German students from Saline joined in on the day's events, with 2 coming home with first place awards. Sophomore Christian Gould for his pork schnitzel in the savory food category, and junior Emma Gannon impressed the judges in the conversational interaction category. Congratulations and good job to all of you who participated.
Everyone has their favorite teachers. Ashley Schaefer gets the inside look at the 2 we picked that are most memorable.
Many students here at Saline know these 2 teachers I sat down with. I talked to Mr. Dice about his past jobs and what led him to become a teacher. I also talked to Mr. Falkowski about his great experiences. I'm Ashley Schaefer, bringing you the teacher feature. First, we sat down with Mr. Dice to ask him what inspired him to become a teacher.
My kindergarten gym teacher's name was Bill Bars. I still actually know the guy today. He rides his bike. We cycle together sometimes. I decided I wanted to be just like him when I was a little kid. He was awesome. And I got to be a kindergarten gym teacher for 5 years before I got brought up to the high school, which now I get to teach a subject that I think is more interesting, but it's not the same as kindergarten gym teacher. If I couldn't be a teacher, I would be a postal delivery person. Yeah, I'd be a mailman. You get paid to walk around for 5 hours or 6 hours or however many hours it takes to put mail in packages. You don't have to talk to people. You get to go out and do your own thing. For me, that would be perfect because I have huge social anxiety issues.
Then we talked to Mr. Dice about his past jobs and how it helps him today.
Everything that I've done as a job, because I have worked a very diverse number of jobs. I've worked in manufacturing. I made little tiny plastic pellets that are turned into things like these chairs. I've worked in shipping and receiving, driving high-lows. I've worked in quality control. I've worked in customer service. I've done cardiac and pulmonary rehab. I've run fitness centers. And everything I've done, I don't know if it makes me a better teacher, but it gives me a diverse skill set so I can deal with a lot of people and a lot of different issues. Like I can find a common thing or something to talk about with just about anybody because I've done so much.
Next, we sat down with JV golf coach and social studies teacher, Mr. Falkowski, to ask him about when he first decided he'd become a teacher.
I decided in college, but not right away. I think after my second year, my sophomore year is when I decided I really wanted to go into teaching. At that point, though, I was so far down my major track that I just finished up my bachelor's degree and then decided I was just going to do a post-bachelor's program over at Eastern. So probably, yeah, when I was 20 years old.
Next, we talked to him about what he'd do if he was not a teacher.
I'm really addicted to watching the weather. I love the weather. I mean, I'm just, seriously. So I would be on the Weather Channel. I would be like the Jim Cantori out in the middle of the tornadoes, and I would be out there just getting blown around. I would love that. It would be awesome.
Finally, we asked him about his coaching experience at SHS.
In coaching, you get people that really, they are there every single day putting forth their best effort, and I like to be around people like that. I'm a competitive person in general, so I like to be around other competitive people. Every day when we go to practice, I love hanging out with them. They're funny, we laugh together, but the thing I like about them too is usually guys like that, they know how to work, they're ready to compete, they can be light when needed, but then they can flip that switch and get serious and go do what they do, so it's just fun.
It was great to hear more about their lives and some of the great things they've done. I'm Ashley Schaefer, back to you 2 in the studio.
Surprising that Mr. Dice knew he wanted to be a teacher all the way back in kindergarten.
Yeah, I know, and Mr. Falkowski wants to be a weatherman. I didn't know that. That'd be really cool.
That would be cool. Maybe he could come and do it for our show sometime. You never know.
I think he'd really like that.
As a follow-up to a story we featured last month, over 838 students joined in on the race card project. Of those cards submitted, 295 cards were sent to the National Race Card Project, while 517 stayed here and are now featured on the library windows.
These cards have provided us with the ability to open up to others about the topics of race and have created wonderful conversations. Please consider joining the diversity group's efforts. They meet on Tuesdays after school in Mrs. Tressler's classroom, room 247. Everyone is diverse, so everyone is welcome.
And now we turn over to Patrick Canavan with this week's sports.
Hello, Saline. I'm Patrick Canavan, bringing you this week's edition of SHS Sports. We usually cover many big-name sports, but with the spring season only getting started, David Weatherman took a look at one student-athlete who's a part of a sport that we've never talked about before.
Ladies and gentlemen, crystalettes.
I can wash out 44 pairs of socks and have them hanging on the line.
With students having all special talents, we look to Brittany Nagel, who has a talent that others can't compare.
I actually started skating when I was around 3 because my sister wanted to. I was into gymnastics, but then once I got on the ice, I just found a passion for it and continued with it.
Brittany also shared her preferred styles of skating with us.
I mainly do synchronized skating, so there's 16 people on the ice at a time. There's 4 alternates. And so we all choreograph a short and a long program together. But I also do ice dancing, which is a girl and a guy.
Through her lifetime, Brittany has had many competition experiences.
I compete in about 6 competitions per season, so since I was 3, it's a lot of competitions. I've traveled all over the place for skating. Most of my traveling is from skating, actually. I had, the French Cup was in Rouen, France at the beginning of the year, and we had nationals in Colorado. We qualified for Worlds at the end of the month, which is in Courmayeur, Italy. Last year I went to Berlin. In 7th grade I traveled to Milan, Italy, just all over the place.
.51 and a total score of
Thank you to Brittany and her team. Back to you, Patrick.
That puts Crystalettes currently in first place.
Brittany's endeavors don't stop there. In the first week of April, she'll travel to Courmayeur, Italy to represent the United States with her team in the ISU Synchronized Skating World Championships. As the spring sports season starts to heat up, here are some early season games that you should keep an eye out for. The girls' varsity soccer team takes on Ypsilanti High School this Tuesday at 7 p.m. And lastly, the boys and girls track team takes on Ann Arbor Pioneer at 4:30 p.m. Make sure to come out and support your Hornets in their early season. Well, that wraps up this week's edition of SHS Sports. And as always, I'm Patrick Canavan. Back to you, Kayla.
Be sure to tune in Friday when we bring you a spring break special and information about the upcoming Day of Silence.
Well, that's a wrap for this week's show. Make sure to stalk us on Twitter at SHS Today.
I'm Kayla Sellers.
And I'm Paxton Brown.
Thanks for watching and have a tremendous week, Saline.
What are you doing? Go back to work.